they're forced to paddle out with this shortboard so they can maintain their image.
They identify as sick ass shortboarder who's better than everybody else. Like,
Under it, and then I saw one person did not scratch under it, and I couldn't tell because it was happening fast. I didn't know who was like that far wide right, and I was like, whoever that was, gone. Talk maybe Tristan can tell us more about the other side of bodyboarding and having to fully bring out every stop of your passion to be able to go surf some freezing cold sharky waters, and how you get motivated and to go surf on days like that, because it's like, I got to tell you, when it's cold and that cold, it's like I don't know, it's got to be pumping.
Explain where you're at and and the temperatures on a daily basis.
Temperature freezing ass most of the time. Yeah, that's pretty consistent up here. I don't know. Surfing up here in Humboldt County, Northern California, right? 2 hours from the border of Oregon. It reminds me of, I don't know, it makes you channel like your Grom days, like why you got into surfing or the motivation to do it. I don't know. When you're a kid, you surf all kind of conditions.
Yeah.
It's kind of always just sucks ass, but you'll be there anyway.
Yeah.
So it's tough to work into a schedule if you're busy and you don't have the time to surf the most ideal conditions. And the only window you have is freezing ass and shit ass in terms of conditions. And you really gotta just dig deep in your soul and just search for it. Just look for it in there, tug it out, and just really, it's cold, though it's not inviting. It's big here all the time. So pretty much every time you want to paddle out, you got to be a maverick. You got to just consign soul to whoever's in control of all this. And
if you were pitching a surf trip to someone right now, I don't think that would work.
I think that was the worst sales pitch I've ever heard to come.
I mean, like I said, I don't have the privilege to, I'm new here. I don't know. Honestly, being up here, just in a new area in general, from like where we are, we have it so dialed. We're so like lucky. We're so spoiled and privileged just to have, the knowledge, the experience. How about try like a paved path to the beach? Maybe that's something you find out you missed, or showers, whatever. So, going somewhere else, it really shows you, how much surfing means to you, why you do it, and finding it in yourself to get out there and surf. I think you'd find it challenging. You moved somewhere by yourself, to a new spot. You got to figure out the waves. You got to find the community. You got to make yourself part of that community, because we know this is universal in surfing. You could easily not be part of that community, and that has a big impact on your ability to get waves, your ability to even paddle out at a break, your ability to even park in the parking lot. So
you can't park here.
Yeah, don't even put your eyeballs on my wave.
Don't even drive on this road.
This
They have
is
roads up there?
Yeah.
This is leading perfectly into a very continuously pondered question. Basically just why surfers hate each other and everyone else all the time. Like
and
we
usually
just
us.
yeah.
Yeah, so
And
you're referring to for everyone to stand up surfers
stand up hardboard surfing.
Pokey tips.
and primarily short boarders as well. Because
Yeah,
that's
like
I mean that's who we interact with the most based on the waves that we're surfing.
like we just went
Yeah.
up to this, like, I'm not gonna say where, but we went up to this spot that's usually like where surfers surf, and it looks like a good bodyboarding wave at times. So we went and surfed it, and the whole time there was like not one like happy soul in the water.
Just
There was
frowns all the way across the board.
Well, I
and
think it speaks to why are people surfing, right? Like, why are they out there? Why are you out there if you're pissed off, right, and just
yeah,
not looking to have a good time? Why are you out there? And I
it,
think it speaks more to like uh, it's their pride, it's their identity. They identify as a sick ass shortboarder who's better than everybody else. Like, so if that's not
yeah,
happening, or like if everyone out there is trying to be, top dog, then you can't commune with one another. So, and that's what's cool about boogie boarding is if you don't take it that seriously, or not taking it seriously, it's just to be a bodyboarder, you've foregone the opportunity to have the social benefit of just
To be
you don't even
cool.
have to be good at surfing. You just
yeah,
have to hold a shortboard and tell people you surf, and you get to all the social benefits of that. And
yeah,
so you've foregone that luxury if you're going to be a bodyboarder and you're going to profess that to people in the world and society. So to some degree, you aren't taking it that seriously, right? You're a boogie boarder, you do it because you like it. And so I feel like
Yeah.
it's easier to when there's more of a kinship with other bodyboarders. Like you see another bodyboarder, you automatically have a
yeah.
connection. Because with
Mhm.
surfers, they hate each other, they hate boogie boarders, they hate anything else that's floating in the water that has a pulse in the
I
lineup.
think they hate themselves.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have to add the caveat. Well, that's you get into the psychology of it.
I mean, I think it's crazy. I mean, for boogie boarding specifically, it's like it's kind of embarrassing if you take yourself too seriously.
Yeah,
You're a loser.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, come on, dude, you're a boogie boarder, Alex. Come on. But it's like with surfers though. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like they put that board under their arm because they want that social
And
class of being in the image of being oh yeah, I surf. But maybe they're angry because they can't surf and they're not good, and they go out and they want to get barreled because they want to be called a surfer, and but they suck, and I think, but the thing is they want to be out there on a boogie board because they know they'd be getting so many more barrels.
so
But
drained.
but they're forced to paddle out with this shortboard so they can maintain their image. But
Yeah.
they never learn, and they never learn how to stand up. And
By the
these
surfing
poor
gods.
guys, I think that's why they're so angry, because they're just like they're in the water the whole time, and they're just like, man, I wish I was on a boogie board, and I wish I was getting barreled. Instead, I'm on this surfboard. I go over the falls every other wave, or I miss it, or I'm like
Or this boogie
poo
boarder fucking
stance.
stealing my wave.
Yeah, or there's the boogie boarder burning me getting barreled.
Boogie boarder took my girl.
Oh, that's bad.
That's harsh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're a surfer and a boogie boarder takes your chick, I think that's
You're doing something
Never-
wrong in life.
that'll send you into a real spiral.
It sounds
I
like you
just
must
think-
suck at surfing.
I just think that if you're surfing every day and the worst part of your day is when you paddle out, then just reevaluate some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
pretty
if you
bad,
go
man.
out and you just are miserable the whole time, just, do some life thinking, do some reflection.
Try knitting.
Yeah. Or
maybe it's just the wrong hobby. Like maybe I mean, or maybe it's just their life. Their life is just not very enjoyable, and they go out surfing wanting to feel better, but in the end, they just end up feeling worse because it's crowded or the waves are bad, and so
I
then they
think
just kind of stay in a bad mood.
I think with surfing in general, I think with good surfers, I think being a good surfer is the best thing they got going on in their lives. And so it means a lot to them every time they paddle out to maintain that for
Mm,
themselves and to other people. That's the best thing they got going in their life. And in Southern California, there's a lot of competition socially and in the
Hmm.
water. So there's a lot of pressure too. And I think when your self-identity is, all placed on your ability or how you look or seem, there's always someone cooler. There's always someone doing more air versus than you or getting deeper pits than you. So you're just always going to be a loser in your own eyes and other people. So
Just bam.
Yeah, someone
just
so
get
get
then
that.
kicked in the nuts over and
just
over
if
again.
that's what you care about, you're just setting yourself up to fail. Like you're not, if you're out in the water and you're pissed off, you're doing it wrong. You're just, it's nice going out in the water, just happy, good vibes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
There's
forget
such a
about like the big picture of like
there's such a
using the ocean for happiness.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's such a weird thing in surfing, and sometimes, I mean, unfortunately, you see it a little bit in bodyboarding where it's like
Yeah.
it's like cool to be like I'm jaded and I'm kind of pissed off and I'm so hardcore and I'm gnarly and like I'm gonna be mean to kids and like
Yeah.
one of the like I forget who like we were talking about it like we were at a spot where we were seeing all these skimmers and something that just really confused me because I wasn't used to seeing it very often was like skimboarder sees another skimboarder get a good wave and they're like clapping on the beach, they're slapping the board, they're stoked. And I remember thinking like, what are these guys doing? Like, what do you mean you're giving these little kids positive reinforcement? You're not just kicking them in the head and saying, get off my wave, go paddle down the point. Like it was like just a complete like, whoa, this is how like you can operate in like the ocean and have like these people, being psyched for you to be getting a good wave. And it's weird.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
part of it's socioeconomics too. With surfing, and there's some ecology in there too. We're all trying to occupy the same niche, so there's high competition with interspecific competition and interpacific competition. We're all trying to get the same waves, same resources, and there's too many of us all trying to do the same thing. Skimmers occupy such a unique niche. They just want little slackers like 3 foot waves, 3 inch waves right on the shore. Like no one else is trying to get that. So they're really only it's just them. Like, if like at gravels, we have good sessions because it's just bodyboarders sometimes. Handful of bodyboarders, we're all same species, not too much competition. We all get along. But and that's how it is. Like probably in the 60s, not that many surfers and they all kind of sucked at it. Like they didn't know how to ride waves. So just everyone's like, yeah, good. Just like,
Yeah.
that's how it would be. And that's how it is still in parts of the world where it's that it does come down to that. I think the competition of it, like it's you
Yeah,
against everyone else. And that's for sure how it is in like, SoCal and other
that's
concentrated places.
yeah. In the younger surfing crowd right now, it's pretty bad. You see a lot of that. Like, it seems like they're potential idols or parents maybe portraying something on them that gives them this like entitlement feeling that just like
Mm.
makes them like I'm the next one. I'm the next guy.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I vividly recall this like one session over the summer, and it was like a really like peaky day down at Creek, and there's like group of like it was like 4 or 5 like no joke like 10-year-olds, 10 maybe 11 max. These kids paddle out like all around us. There's like only like 2 or 3 bodyboarders out. We are getting like really fun waves, and like I was in a sick one, and this kid just burned me like bad. And then like
Scary bad.
yeah, and then he yelled at me like, "You fucking boogie boarder!" And like he was like started going all schizo, and he's burned me, and I don't even know what was going on, but I was like, dude, this kid's like 10, and I'm getting rousted by some fucking little 10-year-old. Like,
It's
obviously
like
I can't.
100-year
That's
age gap.
crazy.
You know, like obviously I can't say or do literally anything except getting verbally accosted by this little kid.
What do
Well,
you
Like,
do?
what the hell? I
Did
didn't
you
even do
consider for at least one moment who his daddy was?
anything.
I've
I mean,
heard that get thrown out before in the lineup
yeah,
before.
I'm not surprised because it was like as if like yeah it was so wild that someone that young was like already in that like
That's so bad.
headspace. I was just so confused because I also didn't even do anything. Like I'm the one that got burned.
They,
Like,
You're just cruising, trying to have a good time.
yeah,
This
I was
kid's trying
literally
to
just
get on the
having a
QS
good.
already.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Yeah, I've
But
heard the "do you know who my dad" thing is get thrown out in the water before, which I paddled in. Pretty heavy.
That's that's so bad. That is like,
SoCal,
oh
Orange County. Come surf in
yeah,
Orange County.
yeah.
We're
Bring your
really
friends.
selling it to everyone.
Yeah.
oh man, jeez. All right. Well, I think that's a good place.
Yeah.
Good place
We,
to
we we
end.
probably we probably could go on and on, honestly.
Yeah. Uh,
But
Bottom line, just go rip and have fun. Smile a little
yeah,
bit in the water, why don't you? If you see a kid
yeah,
get a
Yeah.
good wave, say nice wave.
yeah.
You know, don't burn people.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
burn people. Say
you
nice
guys.
wave. Yeah.
Well, speaking of waves, we got bashed pretty hard there at the end of the year. The last time we were all shooting together.
We're all hanging
So
out.
let's dive into what happened here on the West Coast for a couple days. I can't even
Oh,
remember. There was one, the first one, and then there was a second one that wasn't as good, but
Mhm.
still big, or
Yeah, it was like the 27th, 28th, and maybe even like the 29th. That was like
yeah,
the bigger one.
yeah,
The second one, it was like mixed in with some rain and stuff, and so
yeah,
there's kind of like some weird windows, but
And
it was still there were still good waves. But
yeah,
I think a lot of people were also kind of surfed out, and then also like
rain,
some of the wave, yeah, the rain kind of pushed people away too.
yeah.
Um,
New
but
Year's Day looked pretty good at Seal. You went right to film, or
yeah,
just to
yeah, I was
cruise?
there our New Year's Eve.
New Year's
Um,
Eve, yeah.
yeah, New Year's Eve I filmed Seal, and then I surfed in the afternoon.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the big boys, the big boys came in
there were
one of those
some
first few days.
solid lumps out there. Say that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that we may have seen the largest face wave
Yeah,
that we've seen definitely in Laguna.
I'm sure that everyone listening has probably seen the frame grab of this very, very special set that came into this little area we were at. Um, and I would just like everyone to explain your point of view of what was happening, because me and Tanner were in the water and Tristan and Alex were on the rocks filming it. And there's
Mm.
just like videos from all like our friends who were there that just show like a different sort of gnarliness. And like it, yeah, I feel like you guys should start from the land, because you could probably see that thing coming for quite some time.
Do you want to go first, Tristan?
big.
I mean, your just perspective of that set.
Yeah,
or
crazy.
or like if
Yeah,
you
like
thought we were gonna die.
um,
Yeah.
that was huge. Like it was hard, growing up there, for our whole lives and seeing that spot pretty big. and then seeing that just monster just stomping, down the line. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like it was just so, yeah, abnormally huge and
Trying to
breaking.
snuff the life out of us.
Yes, trying to
Yeah.
kill you. It's like there's an entity out there with malice trying to hurt you.
All the videos that I've seen, like yours is like you just sound like stunned. Lincoln says holy shit like 1,000 times.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy shit. What the holy shit. Oh shit. Oh my god.
And the whole video is like 1.5 minutes long, and that's all the audio is of just what's happening. And then like out the back you just see like flashes, like a big wall.
Disbelief. That's my perspective. Just disbelief, complete. It was happening.
I mean, it was pretty nuts. Like you could see, it was basically like it was essentially like a two-wave set, and we could see it coming in for like, I swear, like a mile or more. Like it was like such a distinct, like that first one particularly was just like, it was just like, whoa, like obviously not like tsunami, but it was huge in comparison. Like it was by far like the biggest like kind of set we had seen rolling in the whole afternoon. And because it was kind of lumpy, it was like you guys in the water obviously couldn't see it because you were like still sitting in the zone, like the normal takeoff area, and like
Yeah.
based on there was like a wave right in front, and then like from my angle, from my camera angle, like when you're looking, it's like you guys paddle over it, the wave in front, and you still haven't seen the wave yet.
Yeah.
And literally, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, they're gonna shit themselves as soon as they get over this lip. Like they have no idea what's coming. Like, and unfortunately, like we couldn't really like signal to you guys like the set because you're just too far away. Like I was trying, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was, I'm sure you're obviously focused on, what's going on in the water, but yeah, so you guys see it, you guys barely like scratched under it, and then I saw one person did not scratch under it, and I couldn't tell because it was happening fast. I was like, I didn't know who was like that far wide right, and I was like, whoever that was, gone.
Just
And then
obliterated.
like, yeah, just completely obliterated. And I was worried because I was like talking to Tristan, I'm like, whoever that was, just like keep your eyes on that person, like make sure they pop back up, because
Yeah.
like that lip nearly landed directly on their head. And yeah, and then you guys, I think Craig, maybe you went on the second wave, I think.
I went on the second one, yeah.
Yeah, you
I
went
mean,
on the second one. I mean, it was kind of whatever, but it was
yeah.
still crazy.
It was a
It
tall
was,
wave.
it was
Yeah,
a
it was a very
mountain.
tall. Yeah, it was a very tall wave. I mean, but yeah, that was insane to see. And then looking back at the clip, I just was like, whoa, that really was like as big as that was as big as it like seemed.
Yeah.
If not bigger. So yeah, I mean, that's our land perspective. And I guess I can say I'm very glad that I wasn't swimming that
Yeah.
session.
Yeah, you were thinking about coming out and swimming.
But it was just so unpredictable. I was just like, oh yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I think I probably would have gotten washed all the way back to the cliff if I had tried swimming out. But yeah, maybe you guys you can share your experience, your firsthand experience from the water.
Well,
Fire it off.
the whole session I was trying to just figure out like where the heck we were, because like don't get to surf that wave pretty much ever. So don't really have any sort of reference. It's a pretty tricky just wave. It's weird.
Yeah.
So like trying to battle, like, oh God, I'm just blowing it. Like I'm not getting any good ones. Like, God, I wimped out on that last one. I should have just gone and sent it over the falls and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're battling that the whole time, fighting like the sweep that's just happening the whole time. You're trying to stay like basically on this rock. And you're doing that whole little dance. And then you turn around and you see a wave that's like double the size of anything that's come through, just bearing down on you, like a big lump of water. And there was only four of us out, so it was like we were able to keep tabs on each other pretty well. And I was in a pretty decent spot to get under it. Like I think I had either just caught a wave or I had paddled wide for one and missed it, whatever. I was a little further in and a little bit wider. So in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, this is a big one, but I'm like pretty close to the channel. I starting to get into gear to get moving to get under it. And then this thing just keeps like stacking up and stacking up. And I can see it like keeping like a heavy shape, like way, way wider than I would have expected. I'm like, start to kick it into second gear. I'm like, oh, like this thing's like squaring up like in the channel almost. Like I better get moving. And then it just keeps like, stacking and stacking and stacking. And it just like takes forever to break. I thought it was going to like go top to bottom, like way further out, and it just kept pushing and just like broke, pretty much nearly on us. I got under it pretty easily. Like I was wide enough where it just kind of like rattled me around a little bit and I popped up off the side out the back. But poor Ian just took it square on the dome.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, so the people who out, for the people who don't know, it was us two and Scotty Plowden and Ian McMillan. In the clip, you can see me throw my hands up. Prior to that, I remember looking over at Scotty, who was more by Tanner, and he was like kind of pointing like there was a big one coming, and my earplugs in like it was just muffled, and I was like, okay, there's probably a set coming, like whatever. I'm kind of in the spot, so like if it's a good one, I can hopefully get it. But it was a good one, but it was 100 more feet taller than the normal waves that come in there, and I throw my hands up, and I like usually in that spot where I was, you're fine, like you're in the channel basically, and like that one, like Tanner is saying, I think hit like a new unseen ever before reef that made it look like that, because I'd never seen a wave that big do what it did on top of our heads. Like I've never been really cleaned up by a wave out there in that fashion. And like after I threw my hands up, I could feel it like really starting to like stuck. Like how like a big long period swell, it starts like really like basically pulling you out. So it's also pulling you into the reef. And that's where Ian was, behind me and like further on the reef. And like that thing just, I don't even know how I really got under it. I went under and felt like the original part. And I think I just got bounced out the back, and Ian just like both his fins got blown off, leash ripped off, board like almost gone. And then the following waves also landing on his head just did not help. And I don't know exactly how far this is out, but we should probably figure it out. It's like
Some fairways.
Probably, I'd say like about between like 150 to 200 yards, probably some probably from the beach.
Yeah, maybe a little further. And it just like,
yeah,
for a wave to push someone almost all the way back in from that far out in the ocean, it's like something that never happens. And then that, I think the other ones were the ones that also kind of just wiped him. Maybe we should have him on. We should just have him on right now
Well,
to get the full experience.
I can tell you what he looked like. He looked rattled as shit.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
popped up after the first one, and I like was kind of like because I had a feeling someone had just gotten smoked. Couldn't quite figure out who it was yet, and I looked in, and he's just no board, just kind of like bobbing in the impact zone, like completely blank. Like he could have been doing this in front of his face, and he wouldn't have seen it. Just
yeah.
like he had seen a ghost. So I'm like waving, like, "Are you okay?" Like
Yeah.
trying to get him to give me a thumbs up, and he's just like, like can't see anything,
And
basically.
there's
Just
still like
so
2 more coming in, like just
Yeah.
right at him. Like yeah, that was the biggest set in Orange County history.
Yeah. It was definitely the like scariest wave I've ever seen in California.
Yeah,
Like hands down.
it just looks mean in all the videos. Well,
Just wanted to get you.
yeah, we'll tack him in on top of all the audio, but it's just
Yeah.
mainly
Jeez.
maybe Lincoln's angle because the audio is just gold.
Just him freaking out.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, boys,
Good
we got
times.
anything else? Anything else you
Yeah,
want to
I
throw
think
in
that's
on
a
today's
I think
podcast?
that's a I think that's a good place to wrap it up. That was a cool little story to finish it out.
Story of
Yeah.
us just getting absolutely the bejesus scared out of us.
Yeah.
Just really snuck up on. It's
Yeah.
never not really expecting something like that to happen.
Yeah.
Well, all you listeners out there, thanks for tuning in to the first edition of the All Breaking Even TV Crew podcast. And further down the line, there will be more. So, thanks for listening, and catch you next time.
See you guys.
The
Ciao.